Thanks for tuning in to another Infinite Flight tutorial. In this video, I'll show you how to fly the Challenger 350, a private jet with capabilities to get you where you need to be comfortably and quickly. Today we're taking our customers on a brief demo flight from Centennial to Eagle County in Colorado. Let's close the door and get going. After turning on our master battery, APU, and both engines, we're ready to announce taxi and release the brakes. The CL35 will begin rolling on its own at most weights, though a small bump in power may be needed. While taxiing, 90-degree turn should be done at or below 10 knots, while 15 to 25 knots is normal on the straightaways. Now let's talk takeoff. The Challenger almost always departs in the flaps 10 configuration, though 20 degrees is used for 4,000-foot runways. For today's weight of 32,000 pounds, which is roughly 50% load, our rotation speed will be 120 knots. Conditions would call for 88% N1 on takeoff, however, we'll add 1% for every 1,000 feet of elevation, giving us a setting of 93% N1 for this departure. Once lined up, we'll advance straight to our takeoff power setting with no spool up. Maintaining centerline with our rudder, we'll wait for a VR of 120 knots, at which point we very gradually rotate, pitching up to 12.5 to 15 degrees. Once we've established a positive rate, we'll go gear up. 400 feet above field elevation, we'll raise the flaps, turn the APU off, and continue accelerating to 250 knots. Typically at our acceleration altitude of 400 feet above the airport, we'll also reduce to our climb power setting, which is 2% N1 less than takeoff, though today we'll do this at 1,000 feet due to the higher elevation. Passing 10,000 feet above the airport, we'll again lower our nose and accelerate to a climb speed of 280 knots, which I'll maintain until transitioning to Mach speed above flight level 280. The Challenger 350 service ceiling is 45,000 feet, with a cruise speed between Mach 0.80 and 0.82. If you're at your max takeoff weight, you should not exceed 43,000 feet until you're about 1 to 2 hours into your flight. It is normal for the climb rate to really drop off as you get into the mid-30s, even as low as 400 feet per minute as we approach our final altitude of 45,000 feet. Depending on weight, speed, and altitude, we can fly over 3,000 nautical miles. After taking in the view, it's time to start down again and prepare our arrival into Eagle County Airport. At the top of descent, we'll maintain our Mach speed until transition to an indicated speed of 310 knots. We'll of course slow to 250 knots below 10,000 and want to aim to be at flaps 10 or below 210 knots within 15 to 20 nautical miles of the airport. Before starting the approach, we'll run our approach checks to ensure the lights are on, seatbelt sign lit, and APU started. The CL35 is a rather slippery aircraft, so I do recommend getting slowed sooner than later. As we approach the final approach course, I'll continue slowing to 170 knots, lowering 10 degrees of flaps passing 205 and 20 degrees passing 190 knots. Prior to the final approach fix or 5-mile final, we'll continue slowing, lowering our gear and flaps 30 degrees below 170 knots. Let's keep slowing all the way to our approach speed of 130 knots. You want to be stable with a 1 to 2 degrees nose up attitude by about 1,000 feet. As we approach short final, we'll continue slowing to our landing speed of 120 knots by the threshold. Between 20 and 50 feet, we'll go power idle and let the ground effect do most of the work, holding the nose around 2.5 degrees. Once on the ground, apply maximum reverse until 60 knots, then apply brakes to exit the runway. Don't forget your turn limit of 10 knots. Now we're off to the FBO. Clean up the airplane, taxi to parking on both engines, and get ready for your next leg. If you found this tutorial helpful, be sure to give it a like and subscribe for more. Don't forget to tip your crew, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers!